So we were looking at their funding and investment opportunities on the supply side, global partners from around the world talking about their initiatives, their projects to really help smallholder farmers close that financing gap. Giovanni Munoz, please come and take a seat. Heike Harmgart, welcome to the stage. Marie-Claire Kaliangabo, welcome. And Mamadou Kalabule, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Excellent. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to start with Mamadou. Mamadou, who are you representing this afternoon?
Can you hear me? So I'm here today representing the private sector. I work for a private equity fund called Pegasus Capital. Pegasus is a private equity fund which is based in the US, but focused in investing in emerging markets, especially in issues related to climate change. So we have kind of many verticals, but one of the key sectors for us is agriculture.
Yeah.
But in addition to agriculture, we also invest in infrastructure, waste and water. I'm just mentioning that now because we'll come back to it later.
Okay, very good. Heike, welcome. You are representing this afternoon.
So I'm representing the new kid on the block. I'm representing the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. We're newly south of the Sahara. We used to be north. I used to be based in Egypt. But we are sort of a financing partner, hopefully with my neighbor, because we are focusing 80% on the private sector and 20% on the government. We're looking at, market business space. And if I want to leave you maybe with 3 A's, and that's also the rating that we have, which hopefully makes us able to raise capital really cheaply for our clients, is agility as in really financing instruments are really diverse that we can offer, and I hope we can talk a bit more in a while. Advisory, we also have a team that really takes the nitty-gritty on-the-ground advisory to the whole value chain. And then I think what we heard before, it's alliances. I think we are here already with many partners from FAO to others to the African Development Bank, but we are here, we're the new kids, we want to have more alliances. So I just want to leave you with the 3 A's and the new kid on the block.
Very good. Marie-Claire, so much responsibility you have for who you're representing because your colleagues are watching you right now. Welcome.
Thank you.
And you're representing?
Thank you. I'm representing the Africa Fertilizer Financing Mechanism, which is a special fund within the African Development Bank with the mandate to increase the agricultural productivity and by mobilizing investment in the fertilizer supply chain.
Mm-hmm. Good to have you. And Giovanni, you're representing this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm representing the Investment Center of FAO, which is a particular unit within FAO that actually collaborates with virtually every single international financial organization that has been sitting here today, and many that are not here in the room. So we work basically on the space of supporting them in improving the quality of investment projects in agriculture, forestry, fisheries, livestock.
Excellent. And I will say to you, panelists, as I said to attendees, if you hear something you want to hear more, put your hand up, go to the microphone, engage. Heike, I know you're going to be doing that extra time because you're the new kid on the block. You're making new relationships. But feel free to do that. Mamadou, complete interventions. What does that phrase mean for Pegasus?
Look, before I answer that, I'll just kind of give a bit of context. So,
sure.
First off, I think today we all agree that smallholder farmers, this is a critical issue to be focused on, right? It matters for Africa because of the food security issue, but it also matters for the world. I think 60% of uncultivated arable land sits in Africa. So as a result, we need to kind of address this issue. And there are many challenges. The trajectory is quite difficult. I'm not going to come back to all of the challenges because they've been kind of well mentioned in the past few days. But things like financing, infrastructure, digital, those are challenges, but we see them as risks because we're investors. And one concept that's very important as an investor is the risk-adjusted return. And that's where the notion of complete interventions come. because the way we look at it and the way we mitigate most of these risks, because that's my job, I tell my investors, look, we're not getting paid to run away from risk. We're getting paid to manage them. And the way we manage them is through what we call complete interventions. And the idea behind it is, look, we don't like to do a pure play agricultural investments. What we like to do is like flank it with some infrastructure. And that's why I started off by saying that we have infrastructure, we have waste and water, etc. So if, for instance, now we are looking at an investment in agroforestry in South Africa, and the way we're looking at it is, okay, fine, they're planting crops, they're planting raw materials, but we want to bring energy, we want to bring solar panels to be able to feed the energy. We want to bring processing plants. So that's really this idea of looking at the entire value chain. What does that mean for the smallholder farmers? It means that all of a sudden, because you're able to aggregate them, create a platform, you give them market access, and more importantly, you give them fair value for their products. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like, the way we tend to kind of look at the world. And I'll just probably give a quick example, if I have the time.
Please.
Okay, perfect. So, for instance, like, we talk a lot about food security, but one of our investment is in Morocco. We're invested in the first cold storage facility in Morocco. And cold storage facility, we talk about food security, 40% of the food is wasted. And that's money that you're taking from the pockets of the smallholders. But effectively, by investing in these cold storage facilities, we are then able to export it because you have the standards that allows you to export. We are going to duplicate it in Senegal. So you're increasing the revenues, you're increasing the human resource development because you're equipping them. And these are very profitable investments. And we'll come to profitability because I want to challenge a notion that I've heard a lot, which is agricultural investment is not profitable. It is.
Sure. I want you to do that now in 30 seconds because we won't come to it in this conversation because I'm showing it with your colleagues. Do you want to go ahead and just put that out there? Give the idea for us.
No, look, I think kind of like, the reason why I say it's very kind of profitable is if you think about, simple example, cocoa. Yes. 70% of cocoa is produced in Africa. Only 5% less than 5% revenues from the chocolate comes from Africa. Why is that? That's because Africa is not well integrated in the global supply systems. Part of the reason is because the people don't trust the standards of African products. And the way you have to do that is to create this platform, complete interventions. You create these platforms, you put together the production and the processing facilities at the standards, and then now, all of a sudden, you're able to sell. And we've got another project, which is in Mali, shea butter. We're kind of like able to sell shea butter to Bunji, which is a large US. And the only reason why we're able to do that is because we've been able to kind of create a processing facility at their standards. And all of a sudden, the smallholder farmholders, have access to Bunji, and they can increase their revenues, and same thing. So, and it's a very profitable business. These two examples are very profitable
I'm going to move
businesses.
on. I know you're the man with the money, and I have total respect for that. But I'm also going to share the conversation with our other partners. We really appreciate your intervention. European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Heike, you're in charge of Sub-Saharan Africa. If you were going to say this is a program that we are so proud of, what would you share with us?
I think I would share, a program that I love is what is called Star Ventures. And it's the first AgTech program that we have started in North Africa and want to roll out across Sub-Saharan Africa because it really brings together a lot of the comments that the people on this panel have made and the previous panel, that it is really, there are lots of amazing ideas how to increase efficiency in the agribusiness value chains from the smallholder farmers all the way to retail. But I think the question often is how to link this to proper finance. And I think Star Venture is really a program where we select ideas, we select companies that have good ideas, and then we take them to the first financing level. We match them with mentors, and we match them with VC funds, and then we also invest in the VC funds to invest in these ideas. So I think it's like the whole value chain of innovation, and I think I couldn't think of being in a better place than here, where really technology matches the agriculture potential, and where I think Star Venture could be a huge success because it combines really the agility of some need seed funding, some can already get a bank loan if you structure it a bit better. Some of these star venture companies can move already to the next phase and get a direct investment from an angel investor. And then you can also scale them up over time to link them to some of these larger aggregators, so they can be plugged into really important value chains. So I think I would leave you with Star Ventures, which is one of the programs I'm super proud of because it brings financing, investments, but also advice together in the ag tech space.
Heike, one of the points of our entire conference here, is to inspire, and you seem so hopeful. Why?
I am hopeful because I think this is, there's been many statistics, and so there is a lot of numbers, of course, of the future is in Africa in terms of, the youth, the potential, the unmet linking to global markets that we have just heard. But I also just see, there's just so much sense of innovation and so much sense of, we just heard this before, of experimentation, which I think is going to be the future, is you have to experiment, you have to innovate. I think I also see today, I had meetings with a lot of the commercial banks here in Kenya, and if you pitch them your plain vanilla small, medium enterprise, they're not interested. They say, what more can you do? What can you do that's more innovative? Can you do something, with digital financing products? Can you do something which combines trade finance with agriculture? So I like the fact that you get challenged, that you get sort of a challenge to bring something new and innovative. So that's what makes me super optimistic. And I'm personally also moving from Cairo to Nairobi. So I'm also looking forward just to be more part of this very inspiring, innovative space where, yes, the technology is there, but if the partnerships work more effective together, and maybe as a new kid we can add a little bit to that and, really improve the sector.
Giovanni, what did you write down on your note page?
I wrote down that actually the need for innovation goes beyond our need to try to do things better, which I think it should be there, but I think I wanted to add also a sense of urgency. I think we should realize that if we continue doing things that we have been doing it so far, we are not going to be able to achieve the ambition that has expressed this morning. We really have to think in terms of being disruptive, innovative, and thinking large scale.
What is the FAO Investment Center doing that is disruptive right now?
Well, one thing that we are doing, we do many things that try to innovate because that's our, let's say, brand name is knowledge. What we do is try to marry knowledge with the financing that comes from the AFIs to be able to achieve impact. Because at the end, as our motto says, the investments of today are the impact of tomorrow. If we don't invest in good quality today, we cannot expect impact tomorrow. And so what we do is bring the knowledge that FAO has accumulated through many decades of existence to bear fruit into improve the quality of the investment projects of all our partners.
When I say producers, organizations, that is a key part to how you're closing this financial gap with smallholder farmers. Can you tell us a little bit more, unpack that for us?
That's right. I think that to all the financial institutions here, it's clear that you cannot really reach individual smallholder farmers at the scale that is needed. That is sometimes possible, but the best vehicle to be able to achieve the ambition I was talking about before is through groups of farmers, through producer organizations. And there are plenty of good experiences that I think can be scaled up. One experience that most of the people here in the room probably know about is the experience of the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, the GAFSP, that has had a window of producer-led, the producer organization-led window for financing them directly and helping them to be built. The problem, if I may say so, with producer organizations is that you need to accompany them for long term to be able to help them to grow so that they can organically grow from being a group of people with the same interests into a bankable organization that then financial institutions can consider credit-worthy.
Thank you. I know you all have so many stories to share, but I'm going to land on Marie-Claire because one of the things that I know you wanted to do was share success stories of investment, because that really helps us know what is possible, what's already been done. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much. From the speech of his Excellency Mr. President of African Development Bank, he already explained about AFFM, where we come from, where we are today, and some success we've achieved so far. So my life has been made easier this afternoon. So, but I want to explain a bit about the trade credit guarantees that AFFM is delivering to support access to finance and input to smallholder farmers. So those trade credit guarantees actually, we leverage private sector investments, and we share the risk with the suppliers, agri-tech, and writing the risk of lending to herb agro dealers and aggregators, who in turn will avail inputs on credit to smallholder farmers. So these are kind of success model that we want really to scale up. And I want to give one example for Kenya. We are working with Apollo Agriculture. We have a 2 million guarantee, which is blended with a small grant, technical assistance. And Apollo Agriculture, through their platform, digital platform, farmers can apply for credit, input on credit through that platform. And once validated, they will go to the closer store to take inputs, and they will reimburse on credit. But this is a bundled package, which includes fertilizer, seed, phytosanitary, crop insurance, and advisory services. And farmers would be able to pay back on harvest. So IFFM and Apollo, we are sharing the risk on a pari passu basis. And these models are very successful and working. And this program actually was launched last year. And during the last year main rain season, over 4,000 metric tons were distributed to over 36,000 farmers, whom 50% are women. And this has enabled the increase in yield of 40%. So you can see that this model is enabling accessing directly to farmers, to smallholder farmers with financing, advisory, and everything. So it's a bundle of services which is really successful. And this is the models that really should be scaled up to support financing to smallholder farmers.
Heike, you looked at me and then you looked at Marie-Claire, and I felt like you had a thought that you wanted to articulate. Was I wrong?
No, thank you. I mean, maybe I also wanted to share, and maybe what's puzzled me is that it's also an example from Morocco, so I'm not sure. But it is really, I think, what the role of aggregators. It's a little bit, I think this is also the role of what we talk about, sort of the private sector profitability is really the key is linking small-scale farmers efficiently to aggregators, and their technology and disruptive technology plays a huge role. So the example is Yola Fresh. It's a small financing startup in agri-tech in Morocco that links smallholder farmers to big aggregators, including right away to retailers and restaurants in Morocco, optimizing sort of the distances traveled, optimizing coal value chain, optimizing the food waste. So it's really, and linking farmers directly without the middleman, either to aggregators or the end consumer of the smallholder farm producers. So I think the role of technology in linking smallholder farmers to aggregators, I really wanted to emphasize, because this will then also really fast track a lot of the more private sector financing, because aggregators, these are the ones we know. These are the ones we know. These are big companies. They have balance sheets. They have, financial managers that we can talk the same language, wear the same suits. So I think that makes all of our lives a lot more comfortable. But we need to have these linkages, and there I think agri-tech and a lot of the support that FAO Investment Center is doing, with us and many others, is important to make these linkages to reduce inefficiencies, and this way actually make even the smallholder farmer business model profitable.
In a single sentence, which is 15 seconds long, because some people's sentences can be 3 minutes, your role as a global partner, as a funder, as an investor, as an organization that helps support smallholder farmers, what is your most important job? I will leave a beat so you can think about it, and then I'll say Mamadou.
to me, the most important job is to create opportunities. That's how I would say it in 1 second. It's to create opportunities through aggregating and giving access to markets.
Giovanni.
For me, the most important job is to be able to continue to put partners around the table to have a clear common objective and work for it.
Marie-Claire.
Well, the most important thing is definitely to mobilize investment to support smallholder farmers. And Mr. President talked about the baobab tree. Actually, just one information, one statistic. Today, the fertilizer market is valued or estimated to be $10 billion for 2025. So you can imagine the number of investment that are needed if it has to be to grow over the next 10 years.
Heike.
Okay, so I'm a banker, sorry. It's about investing and mobilizing investments into food production.
I love how nobody hesitated. You knew what the assignment was. I thank you for being on our stage this afternoon. I will ask the audience to appreciate you, and then let's take a picture.